Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason, just outside Palestine or Palestine. I have heard it pronounced both ways. I've tried checking with local media on the correct pronunciation, but I am in Palestine, Illinois. Thank you, trucker. Yes, this is a town that takes its history very seriously. In the early 1960s, there were several markers erected here by the citizens of Palestine and by the Illinois State Historical Society. So I'll be showing you some of those, but I thought I'd stop here northwest of town and just as a start. So let's get started. All right, sign kind of turned the other way. But yeah, never forget the 1956 State Track Champions Lightweight Division. And here is the former site of the historical marker, which was named after the town. And I'll go ahead and show you what it read. I'm going to read it off my cell phone or read it off my phone from hmdb.org. The photo was taken by the late Al Wolf, who was a historical marker hunter. He died in 2015, I think, or 2016. But here is what the marker read. This area reminded Frenchman John Lamotte of the land of milk and honey, Palestine. While a member of the LaSalle exploring party, he became separated from the group, traveled down the Wabash River, and first gazed upon the region in 1678. Other French settlers came during the 18th century. Then by 1812, the westward moving Americans began constructing Fort Lamotte. As the palisade filled with settlers, those desiring more room moved a few miles to the northwest and established Fort Foote, which is going to be detailed right there. The settlers in Fort Lamotte were the core of the town of Palestine. Planned in 1818 by Joseph Kitchell and Edward Cullum, the settlement served until 1843 as the Crawford County seat. The growth of the town lagged until the United States Land Office, opened in 1821, gave new importance to the community. Then people came to buy land, to attend court, for entertainment, and to have other grain milled. Others, like Abraham Lincoln in 1830, passed through the bustling town on their way to settle in Illinois. That's right, Abraham Lincoln was literally here. The land office continued to give prominence to Palestine. Robert A. Kinsey came in 1831 to purchase 102 acres for $127.68, an area which became the nucleus of Chicago. Augustus C. French, who lived from 1808 to 1864, served as a receiver in the land office from 1839 to 1843. A native of New Hampshire, he was the first Yankee to be elected governor of Illinois. Chosen in 1846, French was forced to stand for re-election under the new Constitution of 1848 and won. And the marker was put up in 1986, and unfortunately it's gone, obviously. And now this one was put up in 1962. Fort Foote. About 1813, the William Eaton family and other restless pioneers considered Fort Lamotte too crowded and therefore constructed a new stockade on a site several hundred yards north of here. A family trait of the Eatons, large feet, led to the name Fort Foote. Okay. Very interesting. Well, we're going to go into town. Tell you the truth, this is my first time here, so I know, like I said, there's gonna be a lot of markers here, so let's see what awaits me. All right, so I'm at the corner of Main and Market, and this is Palestine High School. So let's see what it says here. A United States Land Office was located at the site in 1820 and operated until 1855. Settlers from as far as Chicago came here to file on homesteads. Wow. Young Abraham Lincoln, passing through Palestine in 1830 with his family and emigrant wagons, noticed a crowd before this land office. Huh. And here is something donated by the class 1931-1932. Oh, really cool. And this is their business district, or their downtown. I am walking along Main Street. Insurance Agency, Chamber of Commerce. I'm sorry to say, it kind of looks like a ghost town. I mean, I see a few people here, but not very much, but it's no different than a lot of other small towns. Oh, look. Now that looks like a really classic bank there, but now it's called Big Daddy's Drawers Antiques. I guess they're closed today, but I wasn't going to go in anyway. I got enough stuff. This here is the Fife Opera House building. Built in 1900, placed on the National Register of Historic Places, and there is a marker about it right here. Okay, so the Fife Opera House, located on the second floor of the Fife hardware store, was built by David Fife. It operated from 1901 to 1912. It seated 700 people on red leather seats, had electric fans, and was heated with a coal furnace. There were 5 sets of scenery, some of which are still visible today. Such entertainments as local talent shows, stock theatrical companies, band concerts, a Lyceum series, special speakers, and commencements drew crowds from Hudsonville, which is north of here, Robinson, west of here, Flat Rock, south of here, and Maram, I don't know where that is. Today, the echoes of past performances remain from yesteryear. Put up in 1989. Now, upon doing research for this place, I hear they do allow tours, but by appointment. There have been numerous times and attempts to reopen it, make it into like a small concert venue, but there's so much upstairs, like all the tapestry on the wall. I mean, there's another video on it that exists here on YouTube. It was done by, I think it was by some local media station, but check it out sometime if you got time after you get done watching this video. And there is another historical marker right across the street, which looks to be Palestine Home and Hardware Company. So this one is about Auntie Gogan's store. On this block, Mary Ann Gogan operated a general merchandise store in the late 19th century. One of the first women in Illinois to own and manage her own store, Mrs. Gogan was affectionately known as Auntie to the residents of Palestine. This again was put up in 1962. And just down that way, I'm gonna visit that historical marker. Follow me. But first, check out this old school sign. So at the corner of Lincoln and Grand Prairie is this historical marker. Houston Dixon Store. 2 early residents of Palestine, John Houston and Francis Dixon, purchased this lot as the site for a combination dwelling and store about 1818. By 1820, their stock of merchandise provided nearby settlers with goods which they previously had to bring from Indiana. This again was put up in 1962. I'll tell you, they're really proud about their history. I'm not sure what it was that prompted the community to put up markers all over this town, but I wish more towns would actually do such thing. And I see another historical marker right where that residence is. Okay, so was this an old Christian church? Says so on here. Okay, check it out. Okay, so this was an old Christian church. Well, I guess I'd say so. Obviously, it's now a residence, but built in 1874 by the members of the First Christian Church of Palestine, the steeple bell came from a steamboat which had sunk in the Wabash River. The building was used as a church until October 1916. It was also used as the first indoor gym for Palestine grade school during 1918 and 1919. The first indoor basketball game was played here that year. The building was purchased by Fred Todd in 1920 and used as the office for the Palestine Register until December 31st, 1964. Now this was put up by the Pioneer City Junior Historian Club in 1983. So the lady that lived in that house I was just at, she was telling me it actually was also a storefront and living quarters. So I thought that was very interesting. She said, yeah, this town has so much history. And now here's another historic place. It's now which is also now a residence. But it used to be a tavern back when, before taverns were known as drinking establishments. The Dubois Tavern. I can never pronounce that. But this is, here stood the Dubois Tavern. Jesse Dubois, a close friend of Abraham Lincoln, was an official in the United States Land Office in Palestine from 1841 to 1842, and from 1849 to 1853, and later became the auditor of public accounts for Illinois. His son Fred T. Dubois became a senator from Idaho. Again, this was put here in 1962. I think I'll show you one more. And then right at the east end of town, there's a very large cemetery, and then there's like a park over there, and then there's like a racetrack over there. So yeah, to say it's hidden is putting it very lightly. Here is another 1962 erected marker by the State Historical Society of Illinois and the citizens of Palestine. This one is about Fort Lamotte. About 1812, the settlers in this area built Fort Lamotte for protection from hostile Indians. The pioneers farmed the adjoining land but stayed within easy reach of the protective walls. After the War of 1812, the Indian threat diminished and the inhabitants of the fort became the nucleus of Palestine. Huh, okay. Well, I mean, I know there's 2 or 3 that I missed, and I may put them on the screen, but as for now, I'm going to stop right here. So, thank you for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. I am in the great small town, big history. How's that? If you're a resident of this town, enlighten me with some more, and the viewers. All right, I am Jason, sign off.